how do we undo subtracting 5? Adding 5 on both sides. Okay. So now we're going to practice actually how we would actually write out the work. Okay. So again, first, just like before, we need to identify what's happening to x. First, we're adding 3, and last, we're dividing by 4. So we do the inverse, we multiply by 4 on both sides. This cancels by design. We bring this down and simplify. And this is a one-step equation you should know how to do in your head. And we get our answer. Okay. Again, what's happening to n? First and last. How do you undo a +2, -2 on both sides? Bring it down. How do you undo dividing by 3? Times 3. Okay. What's happening last here to c? +5. Do the inverse. Bring it down. How do you undo times 6? Divide by 6. What's happening last here to b? Times 4. So we divide by 4 on both sides first. Bring it down. +8, +8. And our answer. Okay. Now, what if we have an equation with other variables? Well, nothing's actually changed. Again, what does solving mean? It means getting the variable by itself. So for example, let's say we want to solve for x, and it's critical that we know which variable we're solving for. Okay? So what's happening to x here? We're multiplying by a first, and we're adding b last. So if adding b is the last operation happening to x, we first subtract b on both sides. So let's do that. So minus b minus b. Okay? Now we have to undo multiplying by a. So we divide by a on both sides. Now some students kind of are worried because there's no number. They say, well, we don't have an answer. We do have an answer. As long as x is by itself, we're done. It's okay that this is not a number. Okay. In summary, where we know that solving means getting the variable by itself or isolating the variable. Okay. Well, what if there are multiple operations? What do? We first undo the operation that's done last to the variable. Okay. To do this, we obviously need to know order of operations. What's happening first, second, etc. Okay. So we need to practice order of operations. Now, how do we practice order of operations? By substituting and simplifying. Okay. So a few parting thoughts. This main idea today is really important because we can actually solve a huge amount of equations applying the same idea of working backwards and undoing each step in the reverse order. Okay. So here, the first step to solving is adding 4. Why? Because -4 is done last to x here. Here, the first step to solving is adding 1, because -1 is done last to our variable here. Here, again, based on order of operations, -5 is happening last, so to solve, we add 5 first on both sides. Here, in contrast, right, what's happening last is taking the square root. So the first step to solving is squaring. Again, the difference being order of operations. Here, the last operation happening to x is times 3. So the first step to solving is dividing by 3. Here, in contrast, the last operation happening to x is squaring. So the first step to solving is taking the square root. So the point is, this lesson today is really important, and it's well worth the effort to learn it. Okay. Secondly, there's plenty more to learn. We have to know how to treat fractions, we have to know how to distribute and combine like terms, but today's lesson is really the basis for all this. Okay. Thirdly, you can completely do this. It's really, again, there's no definitions to memorize, there's no formulas to memorize. It's really just two ideas, order of operations and this idea of undoing everything in the reverse order. And hopefully I've made it clear, what to do to practice. So you can do this. Don't be scared of these equations. Okay? So this is the end of the lesson. What's next is a slideshow. Again, it's most effective if you test yourself. So you need to think of the answer yourself first, pause the video if needed, and then check your answer. Okay. I hope that helped. Thanks for watching.